Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I am Nathalie Charlot, founder and CEO of Ignite Your Health, a corporate wellness company dedicated to providing innovative solutions to tech leaders looking to re-energize their teams. Before starting my own company, I led the testing management office at NCR for over 10 years, overseeing quality assurance governance for more than 300 applications. I want to welcome every single one of you to the third edition of the Successful Women in Tech Roundtable, part of Cigniti's thought leadership series called Digital Dialogues. This Successful Thought Leadership series brings together senior IT leaders to share valuable insights with our global community for over 100,000 IT professionals. We are delighted to have you here today. To start off, I would like to invite Anita from Cigniti to share some insights about Cigniti's commitment to promoting women in technology. Anita, over to you.
Thank you so much, Nathalie. I really appreciate it. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. And at Cigniti means championing women and fostering workplace inclusivity isn't just a goal. It's our unwavering commitment. Advocating for an equitable workspace is in our DNA, reflecting our dedication to diversity and inclusion. With over 35% of our workforce being women only, a number that continues to rise. We have been committed to this growth, and we are looking at it as a testament to our profound respect for women pioneers in technology and our relentless pursuit to equality. Our dedication transcends representation. We celebrate achievements that align with our values, honoring Grace Hopper by naming our first conference hall after her and adorning our wall with the stories of the women leaders in STEM. These aren't mere accolades, but beacons of our mission to create an inclusive workspace. Our journey extends beyond these symbols through initiatives like Her Digital Story and our Women in Tech Roundtable series, which we are in right now. And we amplify the voices of visionary women shaping conversations on the future of technology and driving innovation. Today's roundtable is part of our Enduring Women in Tech series. For years, we have brought together visionary women leaders, providing a platform for their insights and experiences to inspire and educate. At Cigniti, we are shaping future where diversity and inclusion lead the way. So we always celebrate women in technology. So enjoy the next 1 hour with our esteemed panelists as they share their wisdom and experiences along with me. Happy to be part of it. Over to you, Nathalie.
Thank you, Anita. Thank you for the great introduction. So today we are going to discuss the common pain points across tech industry ecosystem. We'll delve into addressing bias in AI development, exploring the current state of AI, the existing gaps in equity for women, the vital role women play in battling bias and promoting inclusion in AI and machine learning models. We'll also introduce the impact of AI and organizational change, highlighting how AI can challenge biases, enhance efficiency, and drive organizational change processes, while emphasizing the importance of ethical frameworks and standards to govern AI development and deployment. Our panel members will share their insights on women leadership and AI ethics and innovation, focusing on how women leaders are promoting ethical innovation and aligning AI with both organizational and social values. Lastly, we'll look at the vision of women leaders for the future of AI, concentrating on ethics, sustainability, and inclusion, providing guidance to young professionals in the rapidly evolving field. Now, I am thrilled to introduce our esteemed panel members who will share their insights today, starting with Alice Dungey. Alice is a QMO Director of Technology at Southwest Airlines. She's a seasoned technology leader with a diverse background in IT product management, strategic solutions, and quality engineering, with extensive experience across various industries, including banking, transportation, media, entertainment, and telecommunications. Alice has successfully led development teams for Southwest Airlines and collaborated with clients on improving delivery efficiency and operational effectiveness. Alice is not only a leader in technology, but also an advocate for women leadership. She is passionate about leveraging technology, including AI, to drive innovation and efficiency in business operations. Next, we have Anita Chhabra. Anita is the Associate VP at Cigniti, brings over 25 years of IT executive experience to drive revenue growth in the financial services sector. She excels in industry transformation, digital technologies, and innovation, bridging the gap between stakeholders and IT teams for seamless collaboration. A passionate advocate for diversity, equity, and inclusion, Anita mentors and sponsors women in leadership, championing their advancement in tech industries. We also have Elishia Williams. Elishia is the Vice President of Global Head of Application Platform Delivery at Upbound Group. She has extensive experience in IT planning, governance, and strategic vision, driving global teams to deliver world-class products. Elishia excels in large-scale product development, strategic planning, and organizational change. She serves as the board of president for Striving Moms, demonstrating her commitment to community service and leadership. Next, we have Janet Lin. Janet is a seasoned technology strategist with a strong passion for driving innovation, fostering digital transformation, and championing diversity and inclusion. With over 20 years of expertise, she's a visionary leader dedicated to crafting a seamless, human-centric experience by harnessing cutting-edge technologies. In addition to her professional endeavors, Janice actively advocates for newcomers of women of color in the tech industry. In 2022, Forbes honored her by including her in the distinguished Forbes Global Top 100 Outstanding Chinese list. Furthermore, her influence and impact were highlighted in 2021 when she was selected as one of the Women's Executive Network 100 Most Powerful Women in Canada. Next, we have Jennifer Baker. Jennifer is a distinguished business and technology executive known for her strategic acumen and innovation leadership. Jennifer actively serves as a board of member for WIT. She's a dynamic blend of business and operational expertise coupled with her commitment to fostering innovation from ideation to delivery. Jennifer's contribution to tech community have been widely recognized, including being named as the finalist for the Women in Technology Women of the Year Award and receiving the TAG Tech Leader of the Year accolade. She also was honored as a finalist for the Georgia CIO Orby Awards in 2023. Lastly, we have Seema Dwarakish. Seema is the Vice President of Software Engineering at Sabre Corporation, where she served for over 11 years. In her role, she leads in travel retail marketplace division, leveraging her experience in software engineering. Seema is an advocate for AI-driven solutions and actively explores their transformative potential, ensuring the future of technology and business. Now, let's move on to the heart of today's event, our panel discussion. We'll be exploring crucial topics around AI, diversity, and innovation. Our esteemed panelists are ready to share their insights and experiences with us. Let's dive right in. And we'll go through our insight and thought-provoking topics. So I will start with Alice Dungey. If she can see it, she can be it. As a successful senior woman leader specializing in tech, what does AI boom mean for women in tech, and what opportunities and challenges does it present to their advancement in the industry? Alice?
So much for the question, Natalie. I first want to start off by saying, just wow. I was listening to all of these beautiful women and their intros for all of the amazing accomplishments, and I am in awe of you. So I am just an honor to be able to be on this panel with all of you. And then, of course, thank you to Cigniti. If she can see it, she can be it. And AI and how it impacts women. You know, I'm a very direct person. That's probably why Cigniti asked me to do this. Straight up, women have to be involved in AI. AI, generative, etc., adopts what its creator drives. If you understand that, then you know that women need to be involved so we can see ourselves being represented in what is coming back to you when you are asking a question, so that in turn means tools and the AI itself needs to be created by a diverse person or by diversity so it can be represented in its outputs, right? And so it's so critical, right? It's already critical for women to be in STEM. The same thing completely, but even more so, I think, applies to AI, because if AI is going to be expansive and starts taking over, you want things to be diverse and you want everything to be represented. And so if women are not involved, women can be forgotten and left behind. And so it's so important for women to be on it's the whole thing with girls code and women in STEM and women technology. It's so incredibly important for us to stay involved and to continue to stay involved even in AI and be on the forefront of that, so that we can also ensure that women are represented, and not just women are represented, that diversity is represented in AI. As we continue down this path, AI is going to start to expand into so many different places. And then there's going to be places where, it's not really reflective of a diverse background. But if its creators are touching it, then we will be there and we will be present. And then women will be represented in AI. So I think if we believe that we don't have to be involved, we're going to have a problem, because we won't be involved, because everything will be reflective of, oh, I don't know, you ask a question, hey, what does a doctor look like? You're going to get a male. Going to happen, right? So if women are not part of developing that generative function of AI, we could stand to lose our footing and not even be represented in its results and in what comes back. Because what's being developed is being developed from the mind of the person, whether it is a conscious bias or unconscious bias. Those things are going to be weaved into the fabric of the development of AI.
Thank you. Thank you. We have a follow-up question for Anita. Anita, with your experience in helping enterprises enable business transformation using technologies, how do you see women playing a crucial role in battling bias in AI and ensuring the development of inclusive and unbiased AI models?
Thank you so much, Nathalie. I am privileged to be part of this group and with awesome women leaders to have with me. But before we even jump onto my experience, I would like to have us play a Women in Tech video, which has been designed for this particular forum. And probably after that, I can come back with my experience.
Sheryl Sandberg says, no industry or country can reach its full potential until women reach their full potential. This is especially true of science and technology, where women with a surplus of talent still face a deficit of opportunity. Technology has always been shaped by women. From the early days of computing, when women made up a significant portion of the workforce, to the present, where women continue to push the boundaries of what is possible. Whether you dig into history or look around today, the industry is only wealthier with women.
I've already received the highest award I'll ever receive, no matter how long I live, no matter how many more jobs I may have. And that has been the privilege and the responsibility.
I've engaged the top 40 women in the company to specifically say, okay, what can we do to make sure we're building the pipeline of women?
Your legacy is every life you have touched. Your legacy is every person you have met whose influence was felt by you.
I don't know what was driving me, but I needed to prove myself.
Women's History Month. I've been inspired by so many female leaders here at Southwest and in the airline industry.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Thank you so much. So, yeah, I know that we have been asking about my experience. So, while with my experience in helping businesses achieve their transformation through digital technologies, I firmly believe a woman plays a pivotal role in addressing biases and AI and developing inclusivity. Women brings a completely diverse perspective that are essential in identifying and mitigating biases that often go unnoticed in homogeneous teams. Their unique experiences and insights enable the creation of AI systems that are more reflective of a diverse user base, and they are able to ensure fairness and equity. Moreover, women in leaderships, they can champion policies, they can bring those women's be advocate to it. As my tagline rightly says, go head on. We all women's and our everybody is able to do it. It's just we have to set our mind to it, and we are able to make sure the change is happening. By actively participating in AI development, women can help shape algorithms. They can do the data sets and avoid perpetuating existing biases. Their involvement technically ensures that AI systems are not only technically robust, but also socially responsibly promoting trust and fairness in the AI application across industries. So, encouraging more women to enter and lead in the tech industry is not just a matter of equality, it's a strategic imperative. We all have to put some contributions in this vital building AI system that are inclusive, ethical, and beneficial to all. So at Cigniti, we are certainly committed to fostering this diversity championship and crucial role women play in transforming the future of AI. Over to you, Nathalie.
Thank you, Anita. Thank you for that. Elishia, as someone with over 20 years of experience in the IT industry and deeply involved in strategic planning and organizational change for large organizations, what are your thoughts on the importance of building AI with equality at its core, helping organizations adopt change? Additionally, what is diversity of perspective critical for AI?
Awesome. Great question. Thank you, Nathalie, for that question. So what I will say, when I think of AI, I generally think of it similarly to every other aspect of technology, honestly. Every other aspect of technology in corporate America, where diversity is just not an option, right? So there are many ideas and challenges that will simply get missed when there's not proper representation. And that goes all around. Proper representation, whether it be gender, you don't want a panel of all women. When it comes to deciding AI technology, you don't want all men deciding AI technology. When you bring a diverse group together, that's when we thrive. I've always thought, if you want to be a part of being influential or bringing out something new to our world, you have to be involved. And so if you're not there, then there's really not much you can do to help that representation. And so when I decided I would study technology and that would be my career, I was excited about bringing a new perspective in places that women just were not widely represented. And so what I will say, where AI begins to differentiate itself, is that it's now becoming a standard part of operations, meaning it drives decisions, it drives behaviors, it drives criteria for things. And so it's a critical component that we have to get right. At its core, the data must be right. And if you don't have a diverse set of data, then your AI will definitely not represent every facet that we're expecting. So we're seeing AI assist us in hiring algorithms, medical advancements in technology, even something as simple as a credit score, right? There are things that are just being decided based on how our models are set up. And so even facial recognition, just imagine if women just weren't recognized by that software because we didn't think about it. It's just not really an option, right? So if our data and our models are not inclusive, the potential for error to impact lives and business just grows just that much. And I think that nowadays, most companies are looking at business cases and opportunities to leverage this technology. So the companies that miss the mark here will run the risk of damaging client trust and dismissing key opportunities.
Thank you, Elishia. Well done, well said. We have a follow-up question for Janet Lin. Janet, you have been recognized as one of Forbes Global 100 Outstanding Chinese, one of Canada's 100 most powerful women, and you have made significant contributions through volunteering and mentoring efforts. As a champion for both IT innovation and women's leadership, how do you see women leaders in AI championing ethic considerations and responsible for innovation to ensure AI aligns with both organizational and social values?
Wow, great question. First of all, thank you to Cigniti for putting this amazing panel together. I'm very honored to be on the panel with amazing global women from technology. To answer your question, women leaders in AI we all play a crucial role in championing the ethical consideration and responsible innovation to ensure that AI align with both organizational and social impacts. I'm going to unfold this to address this question in like 3 different perspectives. I'm going to deep dive a little bit in the life cycle of AI, how women leaders can help to build an inclusive future of AI, right? Because if we look at the life cycle of AI, starting from the data collection to the algorithm decision and to the model training and validation, each steps, woman leader can play a crucial role to ensure that in each of those steps, it's the diversity and the unbiased decision are implemented via each of those life cycle. Secondly, I believe that women leaders in AI can also help influence the decision-making process, right? I see a lot of the women in AI communities within Canada. They also participate and influence in a lot of the regulations, including in the country or broadly and globally, to make sure when the policies and government making those policies, our voice are heard. Thirdly, in some of the corporation AI principle makings or process or governance decision makings, women in leaders can also make an impact and make sure our voice are heard. My fourth point is women leaders, as we are building the team together, right? We bring different perspective. We make sure that various demographic groups are built in the AI development teams, right? So that will help creating more robust and social awareness for AI solutions.
Thank you, Janet. Jennifer, as a board member of Women in Tech and the Distinguished Business and Technology Executive, your strategic acumen and innovative leadership have always been rooted in talent, process, technology, integration. How do you see women leaders influencing the integration of diverse talent and processes to mitigate bias and promote ethical AI development?
So Nathalie, I think we're asking the questions and giving the answers all prior to the brilliant women kind of ahead of it. So thanks to you and Cigniti for putting this group together. I think as you go later in sessions like this, you get to put an exclamation point on all the impressive answers that the other ladies have already given. I think, you know, whether it was Alice starting or Anita or Elishia or Janet, the reality is if you don't see the representation in the room, you have to become the representation in the room. Every one of the ladies that answered beforehand, they're talking about getting involved. They're talking about taking ownership. They're talking about needing a seat at the table. Sometimes that's not going to be a seat that's necessarily awarded to you or voluntold to you. Sometimes you have to just dig your heels in and take ownership of it. You have to raise your hand. You have to be able to say whether you want to be part of the team or you want to lead the team. I would encourage you to raise your hand and start to get really aggressive about being involved and being on the forefront of this. AI is one of those unique opportunities in the market right now where you don't necessarily, maybe outside of ChatGPT, you don't have this forerunner that says, here's the Apple of AI, or here's the Tesla of AI, or whatever, you know, company has really shown themselves in a different segment or a industry. You don't have that yet. So now you get to be part of something that's growing from grassroots. And now you get to define what that looks like. You get to help your organization define what use cases are going to be the most valuable for it. So we need to lean in. We need to take ownership of that. You know, oftentimes studies show that women are typically more inquisitive. We need to put those muscles to the front line, right? We need to show what our superpower is. Oftentimes you need to expand your presence. You need to take advantage of networking. It's very well documented from a survey standpoint that women intentionally bring their teams into a journey. So now you've got all of these women on this call that are influential. Well, now we need to put that influence to work. So future generations, future technology, for future use cases, now more than ever, it's the responsibility of women leaders to lean in and figure out how to make your mark for your company, for yourself, for your team, for your use case. It's just one of those things that you can't sit on the sidelines anymore. AI literally at the pace in which it's growing will grow past you. So you can either dig your heels in now and be part of it and learn as you go, or it can potentially run the risk of passing you by. I think the last point I might make is just be really aggressive in your personal learning journey. And what I mean by that is it's going to be really tough to help guide your team. It's going to be really tough to recruit if you don't necessarily know and understand what you're interacting with from an AI perspective. So go back to maybe some of the roadblocks that exist within your organization. You know, there are free, low, moderate, high cost options that you can get educated on so that you're learning with your team, or that you're spending the time now to get educated on it before you raise your hand to do an effort. I just think it's one of those things now that we got to put our muscle and our superpower to more of the forefront so that we can be a change catalyst and not just sit on the sidelines and kind of watch it happen and have our team watch it happen. We have a responsibility to jump in and make our mark and help our teams make their mark. And I think getting educated and pulling people along and leveraging your network is a great way to do that.
Well said, Jennifer. Thank you. Thank you. Seema, you are a champion advocating for women both inside and outside your organization. And your recent award from Dallas Business Journal is a testament to your impact. With your extensive experience in software engineering, you understand that bias in AI can be introduced at any stage of development. From your experience, how can we effectively address and mitigate these biases throughout the life cycle? Specifically, what steps can be taken to mitigate bias in AI and increase inclusion, especially around the context of data collection and processing?
Thank you, Nathalie. And what a group of people. I'm really honored to be here, and thank you, Cigniti. So I'll dive into the bias portion of it because that's my favorite topic, because we always, you know, being women and being women of color, you always have some kind of, you experience some kind of a thing which is in the back of your mind, but you know, you just ignore it, right? So, but we have an opportunity here. Bias, I was just thinking when, you know, bias, when I was told that this is a topic we are talking about, bias has always been a part of human history, right? It's essentially when we have what it is it's a predisposed or preconceived opinion about something or someone. So throughout history, biases have shaped decisions, behaviors, and entire social structures. So in software development, biases can pop up in several ways, like in hiring practices, team dynamics, or design of algorithms. Think about it. If a development team mostly consists of similar people, they might unintentionally create a product that suits their own demographic. This leads to a product failure because it does not cater to the masses or the real user groups. The same way, in AI development, these biases are more pronounced, right, and more impactful. AI systems learn from data, and if the data is biased, AI will also learn those biases. For example, we just talked about the facial recognition systems, which perform poorly on people with darker pigment skin tones. And another example is recommendation algorithms. They actually could reinforce some of the social divides. So looking at more biases in AI, there could be a gender bias where the models can associate, somebody told earlier, a nurse with a woman and engineer with a man, or racial bias, which I just talked about, or even a socioeconomic bias, right? Predictive policing algorithms could actually disproportionately target low-income neighborhoods, or a cultural bias, which I've seen. Translation devices, for instance, can misinterpret phrases or idioms and actually perpetuate some stereotypical behavior, stereotypes actually. So all these biases together can enter into AI, which is already pre-existing. It's not something new, but it can enter into AI at different stages. They can sneak into everything. So where do they sneak into it, right? If you look at it through the process, data collection. If the data used for training is biased, of course, the model is biased. For example, one of the good examples is hiring data. If that reflects past discriminatory practices, then you have an AI recruiting tool which is already bad, which is already biased. Or data labeling. If an individual or individuals in charge of labeling the data, they have some kind of preconceived biases or even an unconscious bias, they might label this data and then again, everything gets skewed. So algorithm design. When you look at algorithm design, this I think is quite important because it's hidden behind in the technology and not many people see it. If it is not designed with fairness in mind, then it's going to create a problem. I have an example, a live example. Actually, in 2017, my team was building out a machine learning algorithm to solve a business problem. We had a heuristic model for shopping searches, and you've all used Sabre at some point of time in your life, because if you use a travel.com, it inevitably touches Sabre. So if you've done that, then you can see that we were trying to solve a business problem for an Asian market, particularly Indian agencies who were complaining that we were not giving them a good search results in shopping. Looking deeply, we found that the algorithm was older and it catered to North American heuristics, North American people who, one of the attributes I can give an example is North American market and people favored traveling between 8 to 7, 8 in the morning to 7 o'clock in the evening. Whereas the Indian people, they really did not care about the time of departure as long as their connecting points were, it's not a long distance, it's economically viable, and it's really a good connecting flight because, between cities. So we did not realize that. And once we started realizing it's an unconscious bias, it is not something we did it on purpose. It is just what we know. So that's why algorithm is very important. When you do a model training, that's another place where, if it does not learn correctly, it will amplify the biases and make it bigger than it is. Of course, deployment and feedback. Deployment, when you deploy AI systems, you learn from new data. And if that data is biased and the feedback loop, the cycle just continues. So how do we mitigate these? Diverse data collection. So that means that AI, we should have data which represents all user groups. This means getting data from a variety of demographics, geographies, contexts, etc. Or regular bias audits. What that means is regularly testing the AI system for biases, addressing any issues found, and then putting some metrics, fairness metrics in between. To work across different user groups. Inclusive and development teams, the diverse teams is so important here. Having diverse teams with different perspectives, they are the ones who can spot biases, right? If you don't know what a bias is, you will never spot it. So they will be able to spot biases and reduce the biases there. So this should include not just color, gender, race, socioeconomic background, and more. The biases which we talked about, be conscious about that. The other one which we have used more in Sabre is that transparency and accountability, making the whole development process from development to deployment very transparent, and having the development team accountable for their biased decisions if there are biases in their system. This could be done via publishing everything. right? Making sure you publish your model evaluations, you publish your data sources, where you're getting it from, the design decisions and design choices. So that's kind of one of the most important factor for me. And of course, when we talked about algorithm fairness techniques, and also make sure that we have feedback loop, consistent feedback loop and iterative process of cleaning up your models. Do not think that this is one and done all, because this is a constant learning. This is the greatest thing about AI. It keeps learning. So it's a continuous learning and feedback loop. So actively seeking user groups, diverse user groups to test it and taking the feedback and making sense of the feedback. And lastly, having a good ethical review board. So I think this is needed for a consistent, because it keeps learning and it becomes bigger than it is at some point of time, years and years of learning. So it's very difficult to do anything else if there is no review board to it. For instance, setting up a review board for development practices, deployment practices, and also taking into consideration all the ethical needs and making sure that the biases are also taken care of. So I would say, in summary, by understanding the historical context of a bias and accepting that there will be a bias, and actively working to reduce it would really make the software much better.
Thank you. Back to Alice. Alice, the collaboration among stakeholders is essential in establishing ethical frameworks and standards to govern AI development and deployment. In the broader ecosystem, including government, associations, regulators, etc., what roles do you see these entities playing in shaping the ethical use and the regulation of AI?
So I think what we're all going to witness, or what we are witnessing right now, is, AI has come on the scene, and you had it adopted in small pockets, but then you have these titans in our industry, big technology organizations that immediately embraced it and then started to adopt it and roll it out. And I think that they're, individually, those specific large corporations have to have their own internal governance of how they're going to do it. I can say that because I'm at a place where we definitely have governance around how we are using AI and how it is going to be used internally to us. Because let's face it, if you use AI incorrectly, it can be bad on both sides. It's bad for the public and it can be bad for you internally. So that's it. No, there's nobody who will be innocent or not subject to some impact of an incorrect or different uses of AI that could become nefarious, right, in nature. So I say that to say that also what I hope to see is that our government will start to adopt AI as well, because government by nature is known to be slow to adopt different things. But I think if you go out and look, you can see they're starting to want to adopt AI as well, because AI will help the government as well to move forward and keep up technologically with all of the things that we're doing. It seems like we're going to kind of all converge at some point where we stumble into this place where lawsuits and things will start to happen. And then I think laws and rules and regulations will start to become a thing that we will need to adopt more or have in place if it is not already in place. So I think that personally, and when I thought about this question that you gave me, I thought, well, these big entities are first going to focus on probably their adoption. They're internally going to focus probably on how they govern use of it. And then we will start to see probably a bigger hand played from outside of us as infringements or proprietary confidential things start to come up, or people are impacted negatively by AI. And that's, I think, when you'll start to see a little bit more governance around it externally to what you're already doing. But right now, AI seems to be very internal to its particular companies and what have you, except for things that are social, like commercials, like the misuse of somebody's name or image or likeness and things like that. And then it becomes, but AI is so much more than just that. And so I kind of giggle at home when I see, oh, they misused some insert actor name. They used her image incorrectly. And I look at that and I kind of chuckle because I'm kind of like, gosh, that's such a minor way to use AI compared to all of the things that I'm doing at my own company using AI. So it is very vast, but I think you'll start to see pockets of regulation or governance kind of rolled out in addition to what we're already going to have internal to our companies. So I think it's just super important. At Southwest Airlines, we want to embrace AI. It is part of what we do. I encourage every company, you should try to embrace innovation and then move forward with it. But how you use it is so incredibly important that you set up what the rules of engagement are. And I think that's what you're going to start to see. So you'll have these titans of the industry that they're by nature going to roll out how they're going to use AI, and we're all going to kind of just adopt that. And then the changes or anything that comes along with that will be government changes that possibly come in and lay on top of it. And that's just Alice's opinion. That's just kind of what I've seen when I kind of researched a little bit and looked out there, and I see it. But more so than anything, I see government wants to actually adopt AI as well, because they're tired of living in the Stone Ages. Honestly, like they are tired of not being able to move forward too. So I think what I'm seeing so far is a very openness to adopting it, and that we're all just kind of learning at this point. But I do expect some more governance to come around it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Alice.
Mm-hmm.
Back to you, Anita. Anticipating trends enables women to position themselves as key contributors in shaping the future of AI. What emerging trends do you foresee shaping the future of AI, and how can women in tech capitalize on these developments?
Absolutely. So considering the trends at this point of time, they play a crucial for positioning oneself as a key contributor to the future of AI. So several emerging trends will significantly shape AI's future and offering immense opportunities for women in tech to capitalize on and drive impactful change. So let me take as a initial means I can say integration of AI with the computing to set to it's revolutionizing and how data is processed and utilized and how they are blended into today's innovative solutions. So leadership has to manage those data efficiency and securely at the edge. So women in tech can seize those opportunities by developing expertise in this edge and driving advancements, as my all peers have been mentioning it. And I cannot emphasize enough that being inclusive in that, having a diverse teams is going to bring that diverse perspective. And then we are going to prepare those deployment strategies, having everyone point of view. That does make a difference at this point of time. Means having ethical AI and responsible AI development are gaining tractions at this point, and with the critical area of focus. So as we go into the demand for transparent and fair AI system, women can lead those initiatives and establish that ethical guidelines and frameworks. How means at this point, I will say that women are known for their intuitions. Women are known for knowing beyond their capabilities. They can go above and beyond, and they have been observed. However, our co-partners or our men communities, they are more authoritative, but women leaders are more empathetic. They bring a different kind of values, fairness, addressing those biases and ensuring that AI benefits all the segments of the society. Thirdly, I will say AI's application in healthcare, finance, and education. This is going to continue to expand. That is not going anywhere. Women with the expertise in these fields can leverage the AI to innovate and solve complex challenges by leading cross-disciplinary teams and fostering those collaborations and improve lives and drive positive societal impact. Finally, which I can say is women in tech have the unique opportunity to shape the future trajectory of the AI by staying attuned to these emerging trends. By leveraging their expertise, championing ethical practices, and driving innovations, they can assure that AI evolves in a way that is inclusive, responsible, and transformative. is at Cigniti, that's what we are dedicated to supporting and empowering women to lead in this dynamic landscape, making a lasting impact on the future of AI and on our clients.
Thank you,
Over to you,
Anita.
Natalie.
Thank you, Anita. We have a follow-up question for Jennifer. Jennifer, with your experience in business and IT leadership, you've likely encountered hurdles in implementing new technology or solutions in today's business landscape. What do you perceive as the key roadblocks preventing broader AI adoption across industries? And what strategies do you propose for overcoming these obstacles to ensure successful integration and maximize AI's potential impact on organizational growth and innovation?
Yeah, so that question kind of packs a punch, Natalie. So I might break it down into kind of two pieces.
Okay.
I think, the reality of roadblocks is I think you got to do some really due diligence to understand what's the driving force of it. I think oftentimes if you're an externally customer facing and offer a product or service externally, there's an element of consumer skepticism that can be a roadblock that you are going to have to tackle head on. I think there's another dynamic that's outside of the consumer skepticism that is around organizational. You may be in an organization that either leans in really heavily to AI or struggles with it, not because of AI, but just because maybe the culture is just not as focused on leaning into it. They want to have somebody else sort of rise to the top as an example, and then they just want to replicate it, kind of that fast follow mentality. I think across different organizations or different industries, I think you got to decide what type of roadblock it is. There's going to be the typical ones regardless. Maybe an example of healthcare, you're going to have a consumer skepticism around, they're very concerned that their HIPAA and their specific health and medical records may be compromised, right? That's a different roadblock if you're in, let's say, the manufacturing section or sector, which is maybe that's a focus internally solely around the loss of jobs. So I think you got to be real critical and delineate between what's the driving force and is it consumer sentiment or is it internal organizational paralysis or just uncertainty. I think there's a handful of common roadblocks. I think we've talked about the majority of them so far. I think there's just a general, in some cases, lack of understanding and trust. Consumers and your teams hear a lot in the news around hype, good or bad, around AI. They see a lot of different articles around machine learning dogs, for example, that was featured on 60 Minutes. So they're being influenced by things outside of you being able to manage the narrative and the story. So you got to confront that head on and determine what the roadblocks are. I think we've already talked about another roadblock, which is around data and ethics, whether that's driven by data quality, whether that's driven by lack of governance around policies or standards or procedures, whether a regulatory sector or whether internally, those are roadblocks you got to get educated on and you got to figure out how to work through them. I think there's another common roadblock, which is around the technical complexity. Sometimes AI can be perceived as this big data project or this big technology project. And so that can sometimes be overwhelming internally. You've got information security components, you've got the integration of it. You've got a lot of teams that now have to be part of that solution in order for you to work through that roadblock. And then I think one of the more common ones is around resource and cost prioritization. Oftentimes, your data, your technology, and your information security teams are typically notorious for being overextended from a capacity standpoint. So now you've got to figure out organizationally, what's the roadblock that says maybe we don't have the time to do it right now, or we've got to compromise on something else has to shift in the timeline in order for us to move this up in prioritization. So prioritization is a big common one. What I would say, Natalie, is kind of the second piece of that question. Having said all of those, lack of understanding, data and ethics, technical complexity, resource prioritization, they're going to depend on the company and the sector. I think you can take sort of this three-pronged approach, might be how I would describe it. I think you have to have a really tactical human capital strategy is the first one. What I mean by that is you've got to be very deliberate and intentional in who you select as your executive sponsor. They've got to be your hype person. They've got to be influential in the organization. They've got to have the ability to spark discussion and interest and sort of start to create that culture of innovation. I think another role that's important in that space is who you assign as the leader, or who you raise your hand to be the leader if it's one of you on this call. I think that person has to be much more multifaceted in that human capital strategy. They've got to be both proficient technically and also on the business products or services, because that's where the credibility is going to come into place. Is I know what the business is trying to solve for, and I think I know how to help. Can we work together so that both of us have an opportunity to have a strong use case, right? I think if your leader is a hype person, male or female, and your executive sponsor is a hype person, male or female, you run the risk of that being really perceived as maybe that hyped duo kind of overshadows the quality and the impact and the real interest that it needs to have. You may lose credibility because it's going to be, well, there's Jennifer again in the meeting. Here she goes again. She's going to talk about AI, right? You need someone that has that balance. And so that combo in your human capital strategy of the executive sponsor and the leader really matters. The third piece of that, I would say, is your team. Be really intentional in that strategy to pull a cross-functional set of people so that now you've got a group full of champions that as you have success, as you have defined metrics and performance and use cases, that's now change agents that go back into the organization within their respective teams that they're supporting to be able to be sort of change catalysts. And now you're infusing more people across more areas of the organization to really be a change catalyst. So I think that's the first one in the 3-prong. You got to have a human capital strategy. Don't think you can figure it out as you go. It's got to be done up front. I think the second piece is an operational excellence strategy. This is where you're going to define your success targets and your metrics. This is where you got to have a really strong narrative around, we're focused on learning, and here's how we're going to do it. Here's the iterative stages that we think we want to do. Here's where I would also recommend you do a really robust inventory of your existing technical solutions in the ecosystem. Oftentimes you have platforms that your users are already accustomed to leveraging, that they've been working behind the scenes in their base platform and product to enable AI. So now you've got, it's just this one iterative change that you're introducing to your group or to your organization that's a little easier to consume than this shiny new penny that requires a different set. So I think your operational excellence strategy, you got to bring it to life. That's where that leader comes into play, and it's an end-to-end. And then I think the third one is just your OCM strategy, operational change management. I think for that, you've got to be really intentional around, that's where your communication and the presence and the narrative, the vision, the benefits, the iterative progress, that's where your continuity of message comes into play. So it's so critical on who's the name and the face of that in that OCM strategy. That's where you also need to leverage stakeholders, teams like internal communications that can give you an opportunity and a forum and a platform to share on a regular basis, monthly or quarterly. Here's what we're tackling. Here's what we've been able to accomplish, so that you now are creating and fostering a culture as you're going along. And it's done in parallel. All three of those are. So your human capital, your operational excellence, and your OCM are all running parallel, but they have the opportunity to complement or to really sort of add the cherry on top or the exclamation point to it. I think you ask for volunteers also at that stage as well. If it's an existing platform or if it's something new, again, you're trying to create a culture that has a broad base of diverse thoughts, a broad base and diverse teams and subject matter experts, one that allow you to catch more and more of the biases to overcome them. But at the same time, you're simultaneously focused on building out more and more change agents across your organization. So Nathalie, I know that's a long answer, but each of those three is probably a topic in and of themselves. But each of those strategies really have to be thought through before you get started, so that they can continue to evolve and mature, much like the AI solutions are going to, and you be okay that they're going to continue to evolve and iterate. But if you leave one of those three out, you're going to have a disproportionate three-legged stool. And so I like that visual to sort of think through each of those three have to be cared for simultaneously.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Jennifer. Back over to you, Elishia. Elishia, understanding where AI investments are concentrated can help identify areas where women can strategically position themselves for career growth and leadership roles. Please share some insight on the prominent functions currently seeing significant investment in AI. Additionally, how can women leverage these opportunities to advance their careers and take on leadership roles in these emerging areas?
Okay, awesome. I'll try to break that down a bit. So just really first thinking about prominent functions that are investing in AI. Honestly, I don't know of an organization that is not at least thinking about how AI impacts them. I mean, it's prevalent in every industry. I mean, we talked about from healthcare to retail to the travel industry, financial services. I mean, I could probably go on and on because I do think that it's just it's on the roadmap for every company at this point. But my advice to anyone is to take a step back and just understand where your interest lies. There's so many different things that you can do in this field. So do you want to be a part of developing the technology? Do you want to be on the data science side? Do you want to be a data provider? I mean, we thrive on data and data is king these days. So do you have access, right? Do you want to be involved in that? Or do you want to be in charge of innovation? Also just in leadership. So when I think of just leading in technology, often companies are building partnerships to brainstorm the impacts of AI in their business, right? So what type of workshops are they doing with vendor partners that can help them to decide how they want to invest in AI and maybe what are the best business cases for them? If you have an opportunity to be involved in those discussions, do so. I loved what Jennifer said earlier about education. I mean, it's at our fingertips right now. I mean, whether it's LinkedIn Learning or taking a class at a university, there's so many things that we can do to keep learning and building our skills within technology. It's a major disruptor. And so you have to understand where you can plug in and add value, but also just know where your interests lie. You know, I was looking at an article probably the last week or so, and it talked about the average half-life of skills is like less than 5 years now. And so what are we doing to stay current in our skills and in our education? So I tell people all the time, keep learning. I think I'm a lifelong learner because I love to understand new things and apply them. And so things change rapidly. So be ready to evolve and embrace the technology. And I do think there was an article in the Harvard Business Review probably last year where it talked about reskilling in the age of AI. So whether you're upskilling or reskilling, how do you make sure that you're positioning yourself to move with the times? And it's coming. It's not coming, actually. It's here. So women and everyone just have to be ready to understand the role that it's going to play in their careers. But I think to really ensure that you're solidifying your position, know where your organization is going. Know what is on the roadmap within that organization that allows you to really lean into that and figure out how to make an impact there. I think if you're even in a lower level of leadership, meaning middle management or just starting out in your career, you even have the opportunity to help bring other people along in this upskilling and reskilling avenue. So there's just so many areas that we can go in with that. But I think to leverage those opportunities and advance your career, my advice is to really know your craft and know the direction that it's going.
Thank you, Elishia. Thank you, Elishia. Back to you, Janet. Janet, in recent years, there has been a concerted effort to promote STEM education as a means to bridge the gender gap in technology fields. Organizations, educational institutions, and policymakers have implemented various initiatives to encourage more women to pursue careers in tech-related fields. Janet, how has the focus of STEM education impacted the gender gap in technology, specifically with the emerging of AI? Do you see significant difference between women pursuing tech streams?
STEM and AI, thank you for bringing the intersection together. STEM has been my passion for the last 10, 15 years. If we look at the current, the data the status tell us, even though STEM has been around for many years, the result is still not great, right? So in Canada, from the university graduated from engineering degrees, the stats is around 32%, right? Getting to the workforce. So what I will say is, let's look at current, the benefits from the current STEM program, right? And then let's look at with an AI lens, right? One benefit is to generating the awareness of what technology is, what does that mean, what are the possible roles within technology, what are the responsibilities, and what are the possibilities a woman can do in technology, right? Generating awareness. And also building that capacity, right? Like offering courses, offering different skill set uplift for women or young girls. That's also part of STEM. We need more role models like female leaders in technology. So for the women who want to get into technology, for the young girls who are interested to learn technology, they see, okay, there's a lot of women leaders success in this domain, they can also be successful, right? Last is we need more women in technology community that offers the mentorship, offers the coaching for women and young girls, so they can they have the confidence that they have the community to support them. With all those, let's take a look from an AI lens, right? So I have seen a lot of the STEM program providing software engineering coding educations, courses, certification, but I don't think there's enough AI skill uplift in those STEM programs that has been maturely built. We don't have enough AI woman leader role models, even though it is very attractive, but we don't have enough. We have even less women in AI leaders than women in tech, right? In terms of community, I have seen that women in AI community start to create in pockets, but it's not mature. So I'm going to share a recent event. In June, we had a tech community, women in tech community event in Toronto. That was the name of the event was Self-Made CEOs. So there was the need and the interest, the industry interest in AI. There has been a lot of AI startups, entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs getting into the AI domain of startups. We're in a event with 300 AI startup, all founded by women. So the demand is there, the interest is there. However, the need of the supplier, the need of the capacity building is not there, right? So during that event, there's still lots women founders, women startups asking, where can I get the support? Can you share resources of AI trained certification? Can you share resources of the use cases? Can you share resources that helping them to build capacities, right? So my view is with the growth, the need, and the benefit of AI, there is the attention, there is the attraction, there's the demand in the industry. However, the STEM program need to have more focus to building capacity, building technology, and creating more community to attract, to support the demand. Hope that makes sense.
Absolutely. Thank you, Janet. And we have one final question for Seema. How do you perceive the AI skills shortage around IT world is creating new avenues for women in tech? And what strategies can organizations implement to encourage and support women entering AI-related roles?
There is a significant gap between the demand for AI professionals and available supply of skilled individuals. That's because there is, multiple reasons for it. the rapid advancement in AI technology. It's evolving so quickly that the demand for skilled people who can build, implement, deploy, manage AI systems are outpacing the rate of which the people are gaining those skills, right? And also there is another big factor is educational lag. That means that traditional universities today are unable to keep up with this evolving technology, that there is a lag with the graduates who come out of the university with up-to-date AI skills. They do not have it. So it falls on the community, it falls on the companies to start educating their own people because universities are not up to date yet. And also because AI is the buzzword and everybody wants to get onto the AI bandwagon, and there's a perceived benefit we are going to get, and it's easy to use kind of a thing where once it's done, it's probably easy, we need less people, etc. The hype and the reality around it, if it's done well, that has created a demand across all sectors. There is no sector around today which does not want to dabble in AI. So that has created another big increase in demand. So with all this being the scenario, the companies have to come up with a new strategy, right? Either we have seen it in Sabre, we are trying to upskill and existing workforce. For instance, we have a 3-day Google workshop next week, which we all signed up for, to make sure that more people are interested and understand it, because that's going to come whether we like it or not. There are educational partnership with universities or with all these LinkedIn Learning, Coursera, etc. And maybe there is other talent pool across the globe to overcome the local shortages, or building future pipeline like Janet was talking about, STEM, right? Maybe it's a little bit later in the picture, but coming in truly. But the biggest one would be diverse talent pools. This is going to be the key. So this is a unique and fantastic opportunity for women and underrepresented groups to be part of this technology workforce. So this shortage has created a level playing field, right? So that means that you don't really require too much of a software development skills here. You can actually it can be beyond traditional software development, such as data science, mathematics, even domain knowledge could also be beneficial here. And also soft skills like critical thinking, analytical capabilities are crucial, and women excel in that. And biggest thing is, again, continuous learning, right? You need to keep learning, and it is not going to stop. This is the mindset of this new personality should be, it needs to keep learning. What I learned when I started joining the workforce, what I'm doing now is completely opposite. So it's a continuous learning thing. So for a strategy for the company would be understanding that we just spoke at length on biases, understanding that the bias is real. It's here to stay. So making sure that the teams, when they're building AI, has the complete holistic view of who needs to be there. What is your representative user groups? Making sure that the teams are holistic, the teams are diverse, and they have that in place, and then start hiring outside. And that is where, and understanding that we have 50% women in the work, in the world, but they represent only 20-25% of technical workforce. So this is the time to improve it. So that's where the companies should start working on. And I think this actively looking to fill this gap, training, sponsorship, mentorship, and workshops, and all those things are really, really crucial here. So I know we are pressed for time, so I would just stop here.
Thank you, Seema. Thank you so much. Great discussion today, ladies. Thank you for sharing your expertise and insights with us. I am certain that many will have many valuable knowledge and takeaways here. Thank you so much. I know we have a few questions in the chat, so feel free to jump in and answer the questions for our attendees here. But while we do that, I have an exciting update for everyone. We're excited to share a program close to Cigniti's heart. As part of their commitment to community impact, we've sponsored an AI course for 7 underserved women students, each name, in the honor of the actual esteemed panelists. So this program underscores our collective belief in empowering others through education, healthcare, and sustainability. Now, so let's hear directly from the students in the short video. Let's roll it.
Hi, I'm Harisneha Bharti and I would like to thank Elishia ma'am for helping on my AI journey. This course brings me closer in learning AI model developments which gains hands-on experience on making improvements.
Hello everyone, myself A Pragnya. I'm here to thank Seema Dwarakish ma'am for helping out in my artificial intelligence journey. This course brings me to understand the different concepts of artificial intelligence, including machine learning, neural network, learning processing, and computer vision.
Hi, I'm Shailaja, and I would like to thank Alice ma'am for helping me throughout my AI journey. This course brings me closer to achieving my long-term goals by leveraging AI and exploring new real-time projects. And I have developed proficiency in programming languages like Python and its frameworks.
I'm Meena. I would like to thank Nathalie ma'am for helping me in my AI journey. This course brings me closer to learn AI concepts, to get technical knowledge and the fundamentals of AI, including machine learning, natural language processing, computer vision, and neural networks.
My name is Hema Kasu and today I would like to thank Jennifer Bika ma'am for supporting me on my AI journey. And I also thank Jennifer Bika ma'am for supporting me to reach my long-term goals and also to earn more knowledge on AI, which is very important these days.
Hi, I'm Sana and I would like to thank Anita Chhabra ma'am for helping me on my AI journey. This course has brought me closer to achieving my long-term goals by leveraging AI to address societal issues.
Hi, I am Pravalika and I would like to thank Janet ma'am for her invaluable support on my AI journey. This course brings me closer in learning data handling and analysis, like learn how to pre-process, analyze and interpret large data sets using AI techniques and algorithms.
Beautiful, beautiful. I will now turn it over to Anita, who will talk about her digital story program. Anita, over to you.
Thank you so much, Nathalie. What a beautiful journey for all those candidates. We proudly host Her Digital Story, an inclusive or exclusive thought leadership series in Hyderabad. For the past 2 years, this in-person event has been a beacon of innovation where women from leading companies gather to share profound insights on the future of technology, exploring AI, data, and beyond. This platform presents more dialogue. It catalyzes real change and innovation. So if you're interested, scan the QR code on the side to join on this transformative journey by becoming a part of Her Digital Story. You're not just joining a community, you are becoming a driving force in shaping the tech industry future. Over to you, Nathalie.
Thank you. As we near our session, we're excited to, well, I guess we won't have time for Q&A. So what we'll do is any pending questions, we'll go ahead and send a massive response to everyone. So before we wrap up the session, I'd like to extend our heartfelt thanks to our panelists, our attendees, and everyone involved in making this Women in Tech Roundtable a huge success. Your contributions and insights have truly enriched our discussion in AI, diversity, and innovation. Let's carry forward the inspiration and lessons learned today as we continue to champion diversity and excellence in technology. Thank you once again, and we look forward to seeing you in future sessions. Have a great one.
Thank you, Nathalie.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
everyone.
everyone.